I woke up one morning to the sound of water dripping, which, under different circumstances, might have been kinda peaceful. But instead of a leaky faucet or light rain, I looked out my kitchen window and saw a giant metal tank sitting smack in the middle of my backyard. Like, not near the fence or tucked away in a corner right in the dead center of my yard, exactly where my tomato patch had been thriving just yesterday. For a good 10 seconds, I didn't move. Just stood there, coffee cup halfway to my mouth, staring like I'd woken up in some kind of low-budget alien invasion movie. The tank was huge, at least 10 feet tall, silver and rusting in spots, with pipes and valves sticking out like it had grown limbs overnight. And there it was, bold black stencil across the side, property of Meadow Springs HOA. I choked so hard on my coffee I almost filed a complaint just for that. And that was the exact moment I knew two things: one, my week was about to get real complicated. And two, someone at the HOA was gonna wish they picked literally anyone else's lawn. Let me back up a sec. I live in Meadow Springs, one of those neighborhoods that looks cute on Zillow but runs like a mini dictatorship behind the hedges. I'm not some anti-HOA guy either. I actually like the idea at first. Keep things tidy, avoid the neighbor who thinks a car hood is a front yard decoration, that kind of thing. But I didn't account for Karen Harris, our HOA president. And yes, her name is actually Karen. Swear to God, I couldn't make that up if I tried. Karen ran our HOA like it was a personal fiefdom. She once fined a neighbor $250 because their Christmas wreath had a Santa wearing sunglasses. Said it wasn't seasonally accurate. That neighbor moved out within 6 months. Me? I kept my head down. I followed every rule, kept my lawn neat, bins hidden, mailbox painted regulation beige. Never caused trouble. Until, apparently, trouble found me. After the initial shock wore off, I threw on some shoes and marched outside to inspect the beast in my yard. The thing looked like a rejected prop from a steampunk movie. It hummed constantly, leaked from the bottom seam, and was already forming a muddy ring in my grass. I saw fresh tire tracks nearby, which meant whoever dumped it there did so in the middle of the night. Who does that? I called the HOA office. Straight to voicemail. Big surprise. Then I called my neighbor Dave, retired firefighter, seen everything, notices everything. Dave picked up on the first ring. Oh yeah, he said, they dropped that thing off around 2 a.m. Thought it was some kind of emergency repair. I said, on my lawn. He goes, Karen came by yesterday ranting about a busted pipe at the clubhouse, said they needed a backup water source. I asked if I had somehow agreed to it. Dave said, didn't seem like it. Figured it was approved through, channels. No. It wasn't. Next stop, city zoning office. A very tired woman named Marcy looked it up for me. No permits filed, she said. No records of installation. Nothing. So it wasn't just rude, it was illegal in like 3 different ways. And I thought, great. This means they'll have to remove it, right? Right. Wrong. Next day I tracked Karen down. She was outside her home, pruning her rose bushes with the same energy you'd use to cut brake lines. Oh, the tank, she said like I was asking about a lawn ornament. We needed temporary storage. HOA emergency. I said, Karen, you packed industrial plumbing on my private property. That's not a gray area, it's a trespassing charge with metal legs. She said, well, the lines between private lots and community property can be a little fuzzy. Submit your documents to the board, we'll review it. Next month. Next month. You want me to live with this leaking tin dinosaur for 4 weeks? She smiled that smile people wear when they've convinced themselves they're right. It's a community issue, she said. Sometimes we all have to make sacrifices. This, From the woman who once fined a guy because his recycling bin was visible for 20 minutes. Yeah, okay. That night I stood at my window, watching that tank hiss and leak and shimmer under the porch light like it was proud of itself. My tomatoes were gone, my fence was sinking, and my lawn smelled like metallic swamp. And just to really drive it home, I got a letter the next day from the HOA stating that I was not allowed to tamper with the tank or I'd be fined for vandalism. You know that moment where anger turns into absolute, strategic clarity? That was me. I spent the next 72 hours assembling every bit of paperwork I undid, lot surveys, area photos, a statement from the neighborhood developer. Called a property attorney, a woman named Ellie, who looked over my folder and said, "Oh, they messed with the wrong homeowner." Ellie helped me apply for a permit. Not to remove the tank, but to build something else. A decorative koi pond. Right there. In the exact same footprint. I even named it Karen's Pond in my blueprint drafts just for me. At the next HOA meeting, I showed up with binders. Calm. Patient. Waited till open forum, then handed out documentation to each board member. That tank was installed illegally, on property I legally own, I said. Here's the deed, the zoning code, and my new permit. If the tank isn't gone by Monday, my pond construction begins. Your call. Karen tried to speak. I raised a hand, not aggressively, just enough to remind her she wasn't in charge anymore. Sure enough, that weekend, a crane showed up. Tank gone by sunset. Left behind a crater, some crushed grass, and a very satisfying silence. I spent the next few weeks turning that crater into the best backyard koi pond you've ever seen. Installed lights, a fountain, a little stone path, even a bench with a plaque that said, "Here lies HOA nonsense." Neighbors loved it. Kids started calling it the fish lake. Dave brought lawn chairs and called it the HOA Memorial Garden. It became a thing. Karen. She went quiet. Then one day I heard she'd stepped down from the board. A month later, her house went up for sale. A month after that, she was gone. No note. No apology. Just a ghost of a power trip, moving on to her next HOA conquest. And me. I still sit by the pond most evenings, sipping coffee or beer, watching the koi swirl through the water like little pieces of revenge in motion. What started as petty resistance became something peaceful. Beautiful. Undeniably mine. Now here's my question to you: if someone tried to bulldoze over your rights, would you roll over or dig in? Would you build a wall or a pond? Let me know down in the comments. Because sometimes, justice doesn't come from a courtroom. Sometimes it comes in the form of koi, sunlight, and the sound of a water fountain where arrogance used to live.